Hello, wonderful viewers. I'm Bella, and welcome back to our intriguing series on the new energy equation. If you've been following along, you know we've been diving deep into this revolutionary theory developed by Brandon. Today we've arrived at episode 5, and we've got something really special lined up. In this episode, we're going to explore the delicate balance between the physical and non-physical components in the energy equation. Picture a tightrope walker effortlessly gliding across a thin line. That's what we're delving into, but on a universal scale. You might be wondering, why is this balance so essential? Well, it's because our universe, as vast and diverse as it is, operates like a finely tuned symphony. The instruments must be in harmony for the music to resonate beautifully. Similarly, in the energy equation, the physical components like mass, pressure, and volume must harmonize with the non-physical ones like consciousness and emotional energy. When these elements are in sync, amazing things happen, from the formation of galaxies to the connections we form with one another, and even the personal transformations we experience. But if they're out of sync, it's like listening to a piano with all the wrong keys. Through this balance, we can gain deeper insights into how the universe operates, how we interact with it, and how we might harness this knowledge to foster positive change and innovation. So buckle up, because today we're going on a journey through the intricate tapestry of the cosmos and the mind. We'll unravel how these physical and non-physical elements entwine to create the world we live in. This is episode 5, Balancing Physical and Non-Physical Components. Stay with us as we set out to uncover the harmony that binds the universe together. Before we dive into the balancing act between physical and non-physical components, let's take a moment to recap what we mean by the physical components of the energy equation. First up, we have mass, represented by the letter M. Mass is essentially the amount of matter in an object. Think of it like this. If you have a rock, the mass would be a measure of how much stuff makes up that rock. Next is pressure, denoted by P. Pressure is the force exerted on a surface per unit area. Imagine blowing up a balloon. As you blow air into it, the inside air pushes against the walls of the balloon. That push is the pressure. Lastly, we have volume, represented by V. Volume is the measure of the space that something occupies. Think of a bottle of water. The amount of water that can fit inside the bottle is its volume. These three components, mass, pressure, and volume, are crucial in the physical world. They describe the characteristics of matter and the forces at play. Now that we know what the physical components of the energy equation are, let's see how these components, along with non-physical ones, contribute to the overall energy of a system. Let's start with mass. Imagine this rock as an object in the universe. It has a certain amount of mass, and as Einstein taught us, mass is a form of energy. In simple terms, the energy of this rock is directly related to how much stuff is in it. Now let's talk about pressure. Remember our balloon? When air is blown into it, it exerts pressure on the walls. This pressure is also a form of energy. It's like the energy of the air molecules pushing against the balloon. And then there's volume. The space this water occupies inside the bottle represents volume. Changes in volume can also change the energy of a system. For example, if we compress a gas into a smaller volume, its energy increases because the molecules are more densely packed and move more vigorously. These are the physical components: mass, pressure, and volume. But what about the non-physical ones like consciousness and emotional energy? How do they come into play? Imagine you're holding this rock, but this time you attach a sentimental value to it. Maybe it's from a place you visited with a loved one. This emotional attachment is a non-physical component, and believe it or not, it also contributes to the energy of the system. Your thoughts and emotions have energy. Similarly, consciousness, the state of being aware, is another non-physical component. Think of it as the energy of your mind being awake and responsive to stimuli. Together, the physical and non-physical components make up the total energy of a system, and understanding how they balance and influence each other is key to understanding the energy equation and, in a broader sense, the universe. From the smallest particles to the vast expanses of the cosmos, this balance plays a vital role in the dance of energies that create our reality. Now, let's dive into the non-physical components of the energy equation. We have discussed the physical aspects, like mass, pressure, and volume. Now, it's time to explore the more elusive but equally important components, consciousness and emotional energy. Consciousness, in simple terms, is our awareness. It's the state of being awake and able to understand what's happening around us. Think of it as the light bulb in your mind that switches on when you wake up. But consciousness isn't just about being awake, it's also about the depth of your awareness. Imagine that your consciousness can extend beyond your own mind and connect with the universe. That's a massive amount of energy. Next is emotional energy. Our emotions are not just feelings, they carry energy too. Think of the last time you were really happy or really angry. You could almost feel that energy coursing through you, right? This energy can be positive or negative, and it affects not only you but the people and environment around you. It's like ripples in a pond. When you throw a stone, the ripples extend outward. So consciousness and emotional energy are the non-physical components in the energy equation. While they might not have mass or take up space like the physical components, they are integral to the total energy of a system. Understanding these non-physical components and how they interact and balance with the physical components is crucial for a deeper understanding of the energy equation and its implications in our interconnected universe. So now you might be wondering, how can these intangible elements like consciousness and emotional energy actually be part of an energy equation? Well, let's dive into it. Our thoughts and emotions might not have physical form, but they do generate electrical and chemical activity in the brain. This activity can be measured, for example, with EEG or electroencephalography. That means that, in a way, thoughts and emotions have an energy signature. Think about when you're at a lively concert or in a calm forest. The emotional energy in these environments is palpable, even though you can't touch it. It can affect your own energy levels and mood. Now let's talk about balance. In the energy equation, the physical and non-physical components need to be in harmony. For example, when emotional energy is very high, it might lead to physical changes, like an increase in heart rate or even changes in the brain's structure over time. On the other hand, physical factors like the environment can impact our consciousness and emotional state. Moreover, our consciousness has the potential to interact with the larger cosmos. Some theories propose that consciousness is a fundamental component of the universe, just like matter and energy. If that's the case, then our thoughts and emotions are not just confined to us. They can interact with the energy field of the universe. In the energy equation, this harmony between physical and non-physical components is vital. It suggests that our individual energy is intertwined with the energy of the universe, which has profound implications for how we understand reality. What's exciting is that by understanding the balance and interaction between these components, we can start to realize the incredible potential and power each one of us holds in shaping not only our own realities, but also contributing to the larger energy flow of the cosmos. As we continue this exploration, let's keep in mind the significance and the responsibility that comes with this understanding. Our energy, be it physical or non-physical, is a powerful force in this interconnected universe. The next aspect we need to talk about is the challenge of quantifying and measuring non-physical components like consciousness and emotional energy. Let's get into why this is a fascinating yet complex area of study. As I mentioned earlier, non-physical components don't have a physical form that we can touch or see. While we can measure the electrical activity of the brain and even associate certain patterns with specific emotions, capturing the full essence of consciousness and emotional energy is a whole other ballgame. Technologies like EEGs and MRIs allow us to see the activity in the brain, but they don't necessarily capture the subjective experience of consciousness or emotions. You see, emotions are inherently subjective and can vary widely even among similar stimuli. Trying to quantify consciousness is akin to trying to catch a cloud with a net. it's elusive. The experience of consciousness includes not only cognition, but also self-awareness, perception, and a sense of continuity through time. How do you put a number on something so vast and abstract? Also, when it comes to emotional energy, there is no standardized scale or unit of measurement that captures the complexity and depth of human emotions. Even scales that aim to gauge the intensity of emotions, like self-report questionnaires, rely on subjective interpretations. Moreover, consciousness and emotions are not static. They are dynamic and constantly changing. They can be influenced by a myriad of factors, including environment, experiences, relationships, and even the thoughts that run through our minds. The challenge here lies in developing new approaches and methodologies that can adequately capture the depth and complexity of these non-physical components. This is likely to involve advancements in technology, insights from various scientific disciplines, and perhaps even rethinking how we understand measurement itself. Now that we have a grasp of the physical and non-physical components in the energy equation, let's dive into something truly intriguing: the interaction between these components. Imagine the dance between the tangible and the intangible, the seen and the unseen. It's almost like a cosmic yin and yang, where the physical aspects such as mass, pressure, and volume are balanced and intertwined with the non-physical aspects like consciousness and emotional energy. Take, for example, a person lifting weights. The physical component here is the mass of the weight and the force exerted to lift it. However, there's also the mental focus, determination, and emotional drive, the non-physical components, which play an essential role in this action. Let's think about emotional energy for a moment. When you feel a strong emotion, like love or anger, it doesn't just stay inside you. It affects your body, maybe making your heart race or your palms sweat, but it can also affect the environment around you and the people you interact with. Now, imagine if the energy of your thoughts and emotions could interact with physical matter in more direct ways. What if the consciousness, the very essence of what makes you, you, is also a fundamental part of the energy equation that can affect the physical world? This concept isn't just science fiction. Throughout this episode, we'll explore scientific theories, experiments, and real-life examples that suggest the interaction between the physical and non-physical components is not only possible, but might be a fundamental aspect of our reality. Picture them as partners in a dance, where each move and turn of one affects the other in intricate and sometimes unpredictable ways. It's a waltz of energy and information that goes beyond what we can see and touch, hinting at a deeper, more interconnected fabric of existence. One of the most fascinating aspects of the interaction between consciousness and physical matter is how our thoughts and awareness can directly impact the material world. Let's dive into some groundbreaking experiments and phenomena that provide insight into this interaction. First, let's talk about a famous experiment in quantum physics called the double-slit experiment. This experiment showed that particles can behave like waves. But here's the catch. When the particles were observed, they behaved like particles again. This implies that just by observing, our consciousness can affect the behavior of particles. What does this mean? Well, on a fundamental level, it suggests that our consciousness is intertwined with the fabric of reality itself. The very act of observation changes how the physical world behaves. Now let's look at the placebo effect. This is when a person experiences real improvements in their health after receiving a treatment with no active ingredients, simply because they believe it will work. The belief or consciousness of the person affects their physical body. This is not just an illusion. In many cases, people have experienced measurable improvements in health, even though they only took a sugar pill just because they believed they were taking actual medicine. The placebo effect is a fantastic example of the mind-body connection. It shows us how our mental state, beliefs, and emotions can have a real, tangible effect on our physical well-being. There are also studies in the field of biofeedback and mind-matter interaction that show how individuals, through meditation and focused intention, can influence physical systems. For instance, affecting the output of random number generators or even altering the physical properties of water. These examples suggest that consciousness isn't just a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in shaping it. The boundary between our thoughts, emotions, and the physical world might be more permeable than we once thought. So, the energy equation isn't just about the components themselves, but how they interact and affect each other. It opens up a whole new realm of possibilities and challenges our understanding of what is possible. This is just the tip of the iceberg, as researchers continue to explore the interplay between consciousness and physical matter. Understanding this interaction is not only scientifically exciting, but has profound implications for how we view ourselves and the universe around us. So, now that we've delved into how consciousness can impact the physical world, let's talk about emotional energy and its manifestation in physical form. Did you know that what you feel emotionally can have a significant impact on your body? Let's take stress as an example. When we experience stress, our body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones can increase our heart rate, blood pressure, and sugar levels. While this might be helpful in short bursts, chronic stress can have detrimental effects on our health. Over time, high levels of stress can contribute to a range of health problems, including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other illnesses. This is a clear example of emotional energy manifesting in physical form. Our emotional state, in this case stress, has a direct and measurable impact on our physical body. On the flip side, positive emotions like happiness, love, and gratitude can have beneficial effects on our physical health. For instance, studies have shown that positive emotions can boost the immune system, making you more resilient against illnesses. Moreover, people who maintain a positive outlook and engage in positive emotional experiences tend to have lower levels of inflammation in their bodies. They also report less pain and physical discomfort. And it's not just about individual health. Emotional energy can also manifest in communities. A community that shares positive emotional experiences, supports one another, and maintains a positive environment may have better overall health outcomes compared to a community bogged down by negativity and stress. So, what we're seeing here is that emotional energy isn't just something abstract. It has real, tangible effects on our physical bodies and the world around us. Understanding this connection is crucial for holistic well-being and provides us with valuable insights into how the energy equation encompasses both physical and non-physical components. As we continue to explore the energy equation, it's essential to remember that our emotions and consciousness are not separate from our physical reality. They are deeply interwoven, and understanding this can empower us to create positive changes in our lives and the lives of those around us. All right, folks, to truly appreciate the interplay between physical and non-physical components, let's paint a picture. This can be instrumental in helping us understand these complex interactions. Imagine a figure as representing an individual. The swirling energies around it represent both physical and non-physical elements. Imagine the swirling energies split into two distinct colors: red representing physical components like mass, and blue representing non-physical components like consciousness and emotional energy. See how these energies are distinct but still interact with each other? They are constantly influencing and balancing one another. Imagine the blue energy, emotional energy, becoming intense, and the red energy, physical health, deteriorating. When emotional energy, represented by the blue swirls, becomes too intense or negative, you can see the physical energy, represented by the red swirls, beginning to deteriorate. This can represent how stress affects our physical health, as we discussed earlier. Imagine the blue energy calming down and turning into a lighter shade, and red energy stabilizing and becoming more vibrant. Conversely, when the emotional energy is calm and positive, the physical energy stabilizes and can even thrive. This reflects the beneficial effects of positive emotions on our health. Imagine zooming out to see multiple human figures, each with swirling energies. Lines of energies are connecting them. Now let's consider the larger scale. Here you see multiple individuals. The lines connecting them symbolize the interconnectedness of our energies. We can affect and be affected by the emotional and physical states of those around us. Imagine a group of figures where blue energies synchronize and amplify, affecting the red energies positively. This is a visualization of a community in harmony. Notice how when the emotional energies synchronize in positivity, the physical energies across the group are enhanced. In conclusion, envision the interplay between physical and non-physical components like a delicate scale. For optimal well-being and harmony, both aspects need to be acknowledged and balanced. I hope these visualizations have helped in deepening your understanding of how physical and non-physical components interact and balance each other in the context of the energy equation. Now that we've visualized how physical and non-physical components interact, let's get into a real-world example. This case study comes from the field of medicine and focuses on the fascinating role mindset plays in healing. This case involves a woman named Linda, who was diagnosed with a chronic illness. She struggled with her condition, and her doctors prescribed several medications to manage her symptoms. However, Linda was introduced to the concept of mindfulness and the potential impact of emotional energy on physical health. Intrigued, she decided to explore this further. Linda started practicing mindfulness, which involves being present and fully engaged with the moment. This non-physical practice began to have physical effects. Linda reported a noticeable reduction in her symptoms, and she felt more in control of her body. Her doctors were amazed at the improvement in her condition and were supportive of her mindfulness practices. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Studies have shown that mindfulness can physically change the brain. It can increase the density of the prefrontal cortex, which is associated with higher-order brain functions like consciousness. Linda's case is an excellent example of how the balance and interaction between physical and non-physical elements can significantly impact health. By consciously engaging with her emotional energy through mindfulness, she was able to bring positive changes to her physical health. This case study reminds us of the power of our mindset and emotional state in interacting with our physical bodies. It's a testament to the complex and intricate balance between the physical and non-physical components we have been discussing. While science continues to explore these connections, it's empowering to know that we can actively participate in this interplay through practices like mindfulness. We've seen how consciousness and emotional energy can have profound effects in medicine and psychology. But now, let's take a journey into the microcosm of the universe and explore quantum mechanics, where consciousness might play a surprising role. Quantum mechanics deals with the behavior of particles at incredibly small scales, where traditional physics doesn't quite apply. One of the most iconic experiments in quantum mechanics is the double-slit experiment, as we mentioned earlier. It beautifully illustrates how the mere act of observing can influence the behavior of particles. In this experiment, particles such as electrons are shot at a barrier with two slits. When not observed, electrons act as waves, creating an interference pattern on the screen behind the barrier. However, when scientists observe which slit each electron goes through, something strange happens. The electrons suddenly start behaving like particles and not waves, creating two distinct bands on the screen. This change in behavior due to observation is known as the observer effect. This experiment has led some physicists and philosophers to speculate on the role of consciousness in the quantum realm. It suggests that by simply observing, we may be influencing the physical properties of particles. It indicates that at the quantum level, consciousness and observation are intertwined with the physical world in ways we don't yet fully understand. It's mind-boggling and fascinating. This example from quantum mechanics demonstrates yet another dimension of the interaction between the non-physical component of consciousness and the physical phenomena around us. From the mind's impact on healing to the intriguing micro-world of quantum particles, the interplay between physical and non-physical components is a rich tapestry waiting to be explored further. As we continue our journey in this series, let's keep our minds open to the wondrous possibilities that lie at the intersection of consciousness and the physical world. Now that we've delved into the scientific and quantum realms, let's bring things back to our everyday lives. Emotional energy is something we all experience, and it can have tangible effects on both ourselves and our environments. Imagine a family gathering where everyone is laughing, sharing stories, and expressing love. The atmosphere is vibrant and light. You can almost feel the positive energy. This kind of environment can lead to a sense of well-being, reduced stress levels, and even bolster our immune systems. Now, let's flip the scenario. Imagine an office where the atmosphere is tense and people are under constant stress. This type of environment can have the opposite effect. Chronic stress has been linked to numerous health issues, including heart problems, weakened immune systems, and even depression. The emotional energy in our environments, whether positive or negative, can shape not just our mood, but our physical well-being. But emotional energy doesn't only affect us. Have you ever heard about the effects of human emotions on plants? There have been studies and experiments that suggest plants can thrive when exposed to positive emotional energy, like words of love and encouragement. It might sound a bit out there, but it's an example of how interconnected we might be with the world around us through our emotional energy. So the next time you find yourself in a room full of joy or tension, remember that the emotional energy in that space is interacting with you and can have real physical effects. It's a practical reminder of how the balance and interaction between physical and non-physical elements in the energy equation play out in our everyday lives. From the realms of quantum mechanics to the comfort of our homes, we've seen how the energy equation's physical and non-physical components balance and interact. It's a fascinating dance that continues to intrigue and inspire. Keep exploring and be mindful of the energies you engage with. Now that we've explored how the physical and non-physical components interact, let's delve into the potential applications of understanding this balance. There are exciting possibilities in technology, healthcare, and personal development. Let's start with healthcare. By understanding how emotional energy and consciousness can affect physical matter, innovative treatments could be developed. For example, biofeedback therapy might evolve. It's a technique that trains people to improve their health by controlling certain bodily processes. By incorporating emotional energy, patients could possibly boost their healing processes. Additionally, AI-driven mental health applications could integrate insights about the balance between emotional and physical states. This could provide more personalized and effective support. Now let's move to technology. Imagine developing devices that can sense and respond to human emotions to improve productivity or create safer environments. Imagine a smart home that not only adapts to your preferences, but also responds to your emotional state, creating an environment that promotes well-being. Wearable technology could also evolve. Devices that not only track physical health, but also help manage emotional well-being. Lastly, let's talk about personal development. The knowledge of how non-physical components like emotions and consciousness affect our physical reality can be transformative. From attending workshops to engaging in practices like meditation and mindfulness, individuals can learn how to harness the balance between physical and non-physical energies for personal growth and fulfillment. The possibilities are vast and profound. As we continue to explore and understand the interplay between physical and non-physical components in the energy equation, we open doors to innovations and personal transformations that could enrich our lives in unimaginable ways. Before we wrap up this episode, there's one more vital aspect to discuss: how understanding this balance between physical and non-physical components can profoundly impact the scientific community's comprehension of the nature of reality. For centuries, science has predominantly been focused on physical phenomena. However, as we have seen today, non-physical elements like consciousness and emotional energy can have tangible effects on the physical world. By acknowledging and researching the non-physical components and their interactions with physical matter, scientists can gain a more comprehensive understanding of reality. This can lead to the development of new scientific models and theories that incorporate both physical and non-physical aspects. Such models could bridge the gap between classical and quantum physics, or even between neuroscience and consciousness studies. For instance, understanding how consciousness interacts with matter could shed light on the enigmatic phenomenon of quantum entanglement and its implications on the macroscopic world. Moreover, it can help explain certain psychological phenomena that have physical manifestations, like the placebo effect, or how intense emotions can sometimes lead to physical changes. In essence, recognizing and understanding this delicate balance could lead to a paradigm shift in science, paving the way for holistic approaches that seek to understand reality in its entirety, not just its physical manifestations. This is the dawn of an exciting era in science. I encourage everyone, from curious minds to seasoned scientists, to keep an open mind and engage in the exploration of this new frontier. Thank you for joining me in this fascinating journey through episode 5. Keep the curiosity alive, and let's continue to explore together. Let's quickly recap the key points we discussed in this episode. We delved into the physical components of the energy equation, such as mass, pressure, and volume, and their contribution to overall energy. We explored the non-physical components, namely consciousness and emotional energy. We looked at how these physical and non-physical elements interact and affect each other. We talked about challenges in measuring the non-physical components. Through examples, case studies, and animations, we saw the real-world implications of these interactions in psychology, medicine, physics, and everyday life. Lastly, we touched upon the potential impact on the scientific community's understanding of reality. Next time, we'll be diving into episode 6, exploring the constants, alpha, beta, gamma, where we'll introduce the concept of the constants, alpha, beta, and gamma, and discuss their potential values and roles in balancing the components of the energy equation. It's going to be a riveting episode that will add more depth to what we have already explored. But before I let you go, I want to leave you with this thought. I encourage each one of you to think critically about the interconnectedness of physical and non-physical aspects in your own lives. Consider how your thoughts and emotions can shape your reality and vice versa. A huge thank you to all of you for watching and being a part of this exciting journey of discovery. Your enthusiasm and curiosity drive this show, so stay tuned for more episodes and don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.